This experiment is to investigate the elements produced when different salt solutions are electrolyzed. The equipment we'll need will be one low voltage power supply capable of giving us 4 volts, various solutions including copper sulfate solution, copper chloride solution, sodium chloride solution, sodium sulfate solution. To do the electrolysis we'll need 2 electrodes. These are carbon electrodes with rubber bones to support them, and we'll need the lid of a petri dish with 2 holes in so that we can suspend them over our solutions. Of course we'll need a couple of leads with crocodile clips in order to conduct the electricity. And finally, a pair of tweezers and some blue litmus paper. That's it. Okay. This is how we set up the apparatus. We'll have a power supply, and there's our solution containing copper sulfate solution. We'll have about 50 millilitres of solution in the beaker, and we'll insert the carbon electrodes through these holes in the lid so that they are kept apart and they don't touch. The next job is to connect the electrodes to the power supply. Now we've got to make sure we use the DC, that is the red and the black connections, not any others. So I'll connect the red, the positive electrode, positive terminal. There we go, there's one. And on the other side, there's the negative. Just check they're not touching, and it's as easy as that. All I have to do now is to switch on the current and wait for about 3 minutes before we look and see what's happened. We'll pass the current through the solution and we'll leave it for a few minutes for there to be enough elements to test. If you can see, the one connected to the negative electrode has already collected a pinkish brown coating of copper. The one connected to the positive electrode, you may be able to see it's producing a gas. There isn't really enough gas to test, but we do have a quick method where we can show what the gas is. At the end of the time, if we take out the electrodes, and we can see the one connected to the negative part of the power supply has a nice coating of copper. That tells us very much that the copper has been produced from the solution. There's no real noticeable change on this one connected to the positive electrode. The gas was produced, but we're unable to test for this gas at this time. We've discarded the old one. We've got a beaker with a new solution, same volume, around about 50 millilitres, and this one's copper chloride solution. Now I'll put the lid in place. This electrode I connect to the negative. This electrode I connect to the positive, and we'll switch on and observe what happens if we can. And that would be nice. Okay, we'll try again. We'll switch on, observe what happens. It's important that the electrodes do not touch. Is it fizzing? You'll see that this electrode, the positive electrode, I can see some fizzing. The electrode may be breaking up a bit, but it's just fizzing, so that tells me a gas is being produced. And on this negative electrode over on this side, once again I can see we're getting a nice coating of copper. We'll let the experiment run for a while. Now, I'm sure in this case we can test the gas that's being produced in order to work out what it is. So I'll just let that go for a tiny bit longer. The test involves using a piece of litmus paper. I'm going to wet it in the solution next to the positive electrode, and that will give me an indication of what the gas is. I'm I'll take the lid off because it makes it a little bit easier for me to do. Blue litmus into the solution close to this positive electrode, and when I pull it out we'll see if there's any change. It's not red, so we definitely say that the colour has been bleached out of it. There's only one element that's possible that can do that, and that element is chlorine. So a certain amount of chlorine is being produced. This solution is being broken down, and obviously it gives us copper on this electrode and chlorine at this electrode. I'm going to stop there. Right, that's the copper chloride solution, so we can dispose of that and we can move on to our next solution. In this case I picked sodium chloride. The method would be to clean the electrodes off. I'm using a paper towel. It seems satisfactory in this case. So I clean the electrodes off, and I use the same electrodes in the same way. It's off. That there. That there. Oops. Put that there. Now again, I've got to make sure they don't touch. Not that anything bad will happen. It's just not good practice. Switch it on, and I leave it to run. And we can see that the positive one should be fizzing, and okay, I'm not going to tell you much more. You'll make your observations. There's a positive electrode fizzing. You may see a fewer bubbles on the negative electrode. I could repeat the test with the litmus paper again, so I can take those out. I'll take the lid off, and here's my litmus paper. If I hold it into tweezers, I can just dunk it in, and I'll just be able to just about test any gas on this electrode. So in it goes again, and we wouldn't say that was a blue colour. I'd say it's definitely bleached out the litmus, and again I can smell a bleachy smell, and that tells me it is chlorine. At the other electrode, no such reaction happens. Okay, what you'll have to do next is to repeat this. So you'll take these, switch off the power, you'll take out the electrodes, you'll clean them, make sure they're clean enough to use again, and you'll repeat the same experiment in the same way with the next solution. And in this case I have sodium sulfate, so I just go through the process again. Bear in mind you have to fill in the results on your results table, and that's it.